It's time for Recipe of the Day. You know how simple things are often the best? That is absolutely the case when talking about pasta al limone. That's the lemon pasta dish that's especially popular in the Amalfi Coast region of southern Italy. There is where lemons abound, and they are an essential ingredient in so much of the local cuisine. But of course, you can make this anywhere that you can get your hands on a lemon or two, which is pretty much anywhere, right? Now, this is one of those pastas, kind of like the classic pasta with the olive oil and garlic, or even like a carbonara, where you're using the heat of the pasta and some pasta water and a little bit of Parmesan cheese to make the sauce. Of course, carbonara also has the eggs thickening the sauce, but you know what I mean? There's just not very much going on. And this is done in one pot. It's a lemon pasta in one pot. You cook the pasta in there, drain it, put it back in there, and then the sauce is made right in there. And so if you wanted this to be like your one pot meal, if you have some leftover cooked chicken that you heat up, maybe a little bit of broccoli, something like that, you could add that in. Oh, frozen peas warmed up would be good too. And then it becomes a one pot dinner. Or just the one pot of lemon pasta as a side dish is going to brighten up any meal. You know, I talk so often about that side dish solution where you have one great side dish idea and then everything else can be super simple. This is perfect for that, right? You make this creamy lemon pasta and you just have, you know, a simple chicken breast or piece of salmon on the side with a little bit of vegetable or salad, and that is dinner. Everything can be very simple. Even the pasta, simple, but it has so much flavor. It's just a perfect dinner. Okay, now let's talk about how to make this lemon pasta. You are starting by bringing a big pot of water up to the boil, and you're going to salt it. You're cooking a pound of dried spaghetti according to package directions. Now, you could use a different long pasta. I really think it has to be a long pasta, though. You don't want little ones. I guess you could, but it's just very traditional to have the long spaghetti or bucatini or linguine, fettuccine, something like that. It's just such a slurpable pasta, so you want to be able to wrap it around your fork and slurp it up. You know what I mean? Now, I'm just going to say that the recipe itself says to cook the pasta until it's al dente, and earlier up in the blog post it says even under al dente, but that is not my recommendation. This is actually not my recipe. This is from a contributor on my site, The Cookful. I have made this recipe, but it's not my recipe. If it was my recipe, I would not say to cook it al dente. I don't like al dente pasta. I like it cooked soft. So that is me. You do you. I will do me. You've got to cook the way you like it, right? So cook that pasta to your desired tenderness, maybe ever so slightly less done than you would like, because it will continue to cook a tiny bit as you make the sauce. So that is a key point about this, but I don't worry about it. I just cook it till it's nice. I taste one strand. When it's the softness that I like, that is when I drain it. So you're going to drain the pasta, but first you need to scoop out 1 cup of the pasta water. And I've told you my favorite tip for this before, because I always forget. I'm just draining the pasta down the colander, and then I look at the next step in the recipe and I'm like, oh, I forgot to keep that water. You can always just boil some water if you want that hot water, but it's not going to have the starch and the salt in it that your pasta cooking water had. So if you do accidentally spill it down the sink, you can just use hot water, salt it a little bit, but it's not the same. Now, to remember to not drain the pasta without reserving that water, what you do is as soon as you see that instruction in your recipe, you get out your colander and you put your measuring cup in the colander and you put that whole thing in the sink. Then when you go to pour that pasta and water into your colander, you're going to see that measuring cup. Stop what you're doing, put the pot back on the stove, scoop out the water, then drain the pasta. Okay, once the pasta is drained, you are putting it in the same pot that it was cooking in. Now there's no water in there. Now it's just the drained pasta. You're putting that over medium-low heat, and you're adding a 1/2 cup of unsalted butter. That's 1 stick that you've cut into slices. The cutting it just is going to help it melt a little bit faster. You're also adding 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil and the zest of 2 lemons. Give that a stir and then add in a 1/2 cup of the reserved pasta water. So not all of it. You scooped out a cup. You're only adding in a 1/2 cup right now. And you're just going to toss that with some tongs until all the butter is melted. Then you are adding 1.5 cups of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. That's about 3 ounces. And yes, you really do have to shred your own here or grate your own here. And that is because when you buy the Parmesan cheese cheese that's already shredded or grated, it has an anti-caking agent, and that's going to make things gritty. We really want this Parmesan cheese to melt into a smooth sauce, and that's going to happen best if you've grated it yourself. So you're adding that 1.5 cups of freshly grated or freshly shredded Parmesan cheese along with a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, just a couple grinds, and you toss that until the cheese is melted and a creamy sauce is formed, clinging to those noodles. Then at that point, if you want to, you can add a little bit more of the pasta water to thin it out to just the consistency that you want and serve it warm. I will put the link to this recipe in the show notes for this podcast episode, or you can head to cookthestory.com/ROTD and get it there. Everything there is arranged by date, so it's helpful to know that today is January 20th of 2025. And I want to say that if you love my recipe ideas, if you love the kinds of things that I'm cooking and you want more of it, there's an easy thing you can do. You can sign up for my emails. I send out 2 a week. They are loaded with my best recipes, seasonal recipes, and so many great ideas for what you should be cooking right now. The easiest place to sign up for that is at our Start Here page. So if you go to cookthestory.com, you're going to click on Start Here in the menu, and you can sign up there, or go to cookthestory.com/start-here, and you can sign up for those emails and get even more of my tasty recipes right in your inbox. I'm Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, the all-new chicken cookbook, and from this podcast, Recipe of the Day. I hope you have a great day. Let's get cooking.